Good afternoon, greater Philadelphia area. This is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Timon. She's Stacy Mitchell. And we all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, along with Nick Wolf behind the camera. And we are live every single week, streaming on YouTube. If you get some value out of the show here, we're going to be talking about the Federal Reserve meeting last week, the best Fed meeting in years, I'm going to say. Big statement there. The 2024 housing market trends that could shape the market and Google's most searched real estate terms over this past year. So if you like what you hear, you get some value out of it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. So, ladies, we had the Fed meeting last week. And personally, I was quite nervous, not so much for the lack of a rate hike, which was widely expected, but what the comments were going to be after the meeting. And what the Fed did, what we had actually talked about it on the show here, I found to be very intriguing, where they came out and said, hey, we are not talking about rate hikes anymore. There's going to be 3 rate cuts in 2024, more to follow in 2025. What's your reaction? And obviously the Dow Jones rallied. We saw mortgage rates drop. What's your reaction to the comments after the meeting? How are you communicating this with clients, and what do you see happening as we head into the last couple weeks of 2023, thanks to Jerome Powell and friends at their meeting last week?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely encouraging. However, I feel like when you're laying out a year to 2 years out, it's difficult to know what may happen between now and then. So while that sounds very positive, I feel like maybe sometimes they shouldn't predict out so far what they're going to do, and they should just give shorter term predictions, because what that sometimes does lead clients to kind of a path that they go down then is well, if they're going to be if rates are going to drop a couple times, I'm going to wait another year, or I'm going to wait another, when it's so far out. If you were saying in 3 months, they might come down a little bit, that's still time to get out, take a look at things, especially if you're at the earlier end of the process, get familiar with everything. And that could all line up, even though we always say you can't time the market, but feasibly that could make sense. If you postpone because you heard that rates are going to be cut 3 times this year and then even more into 2025, and you decide to hold off for that, that's a lot of time that different things could happen in. And I don't love that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think because when people do try to time the market, and I've seen this with a number of my clients already, when they try to time the market, it doesn't work out. They're still waiting to buy a house.
Right.
Because they were waiting, they didn't want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to overpay, quote unquote.
Right.
So then the rates started to go up. So then they were like, well, we're not going to overpay and then pay these high interest rates.
Right.
So guess what? They're still waiting to buy a house, where if they would have bought 2 years ago,
right,
they would have been sitting on a whole lump of awesome, equity in their home. So you can't time the market. It's really, really the opportune time right now, because interest rates, I saw today 6.25, which is awesome.
Wow.
There's lenders that have these amazing programs.
Mm-hmm.
I have a client that, he's looking. He's getting a 5% lender credit.
Wow.
Yeah, a 5% lender credit to offset his closing costs. So, and he's going to have an amazing interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
He's a first-time home buyer. So there's really good opportunity out there now, and to wait and see, if by third quarter or fourth quarter, they're going to be 5%. We don't know that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We know what we know now.
Right.
We know what we know in the past.
Yeah.
And it's, we're going to see sellers coming back in. I got a call the other day. Somebody wants to list in January.
Mm-hmm. So
So sellers are coming back in. And we are definitely going to see more buyers coming in January, which is going to be competition.
Right. And as there's always give and take here. So as those rates come down, the competition comes back in, and there's always going to be, there is no predictable sweet spot where this is when you get it all.
Right. There's no perfect time.
Right.
What is that saying? Don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Oh, good one.
That's it. Because people are like, no, we got to wait for the perfect time. It's like,
Yeah.
it's never perfect.
Yeah. Ooh,
News alert, it's never perfect.
a bird in the hand.
Is
Worth
worth
two in the
bush.
bush.
Well, done is better than perfect's another one.
Oh, I
that's
like
a little more
that.
business. But I mean,
Yes.
think about moving. Like, isn't it just better to be in the house and instead of and then making it the way you want? So you guys bring up some really good points. I think part of the challenge here, Sarah, is that the Fed they're expecting them to say either we're going to hike rates next time or we're not. So I think that they're under some pressure there. I was glad they said that.
Yeah,
I think it was a good thing in a lot of ways. So the thing I noticed, we talked about this last week, is they revised their predictions for inflation, right? So they didn't come out and say, hey, we need 2%, we need 2%. They said we're shooting for 2.4% in 2024. Which is exactly what we talked about on the show last week. So the first time I've gotten something right on this show, and it's you got to read between the lines where it seems like they're okay with the direction things are going now. Their measures they've taken are working, and because of that, they're going to get into more of a rate cut environment because there was a lot of folks out there that were almost like revolting against the Fed. You can't keep saying we're going to keep hiking rates. We can't have this hawkish tone because the economy is suffering. They were wrong about the jobless recession. Jobs remain very resilient. I don't see that changing. So, and then you saw the market react, right? And the market is the one that really tells you what goes on here. The Dow Jones rallied substantially. We saw mortgage rates drop, like you mentioned, Stacey. The 10-year yield went below 4%, which is really good. So all of these things happening, I think this is kind of what this is the best case scenario. Like, I don't know that meeting could have gone any better. I mean, today the yield is coming in at 3.952. I mean, and it was above 4 for a while on the 10-year Treasury. So that's all very good news. And what I like about this is now there's like some hope back in the market. Buyers aren't feeling, and the sellers who want to buy, they're not feeling so locked in. Like I have to wait because the rates are so substantially higher. I mean, just a month ago we were at 8%. Mm-hmm. And now we're seeing almost a 2-point differential. And the Fed did a good job of not putting their foot in their mouth. I mean, and now we've got some time to let this play out because the next meeting is not until February. So I think January could be a very busy month. You're talking about people getting ready to list in January. If I'm an agent right now or a consumer, I'm taking this time because there's a little more free time this time of year, especially these next 11, 12 days. I'm getting all my ducks in a row to be ready to go because if rates come down even more, which I don't think they will, I have a feeling they're going to stay in this like low 6 range. That's just my observation. I don't think they're going to go much lower than that, but that's such a big difference. And if you look at that keeping current matters chart that we've put up, when rates get into like the 6s, the buyer demand picks up a lot. So if I'm a buyer trying to time this, Sarah, and I know you're anti-timing, I'd be very careful not to outthink myself because a lot of people are just going to wake up on January 2nd and say, all right, I'm ready to buy a house. Mm-hmm. You can outmaneuver the market these next couple months here before everyone wakes up and like it's springtime. I mean, that's like the same, like I'm waiting is like I want to buy in the spring when there's more inventory. Well, what if you found the right house? What do you understand about how the spring market works? Because a lot of people don't want to get in those competitive environments. So when someone says that, how are you advising them, knowing that the Fed had a really favorable meeting? This is all really good news here. What are you telling to folks when they give you, I'm waiting until the spring? Like, what advice do you have for someone listening right now that is saying, I'm waiting until the spring?
I think it depends on, the relationship that I have with them to some degree. Like, is this somebody who I've been working with a while and is always giving some like farther off, down the line time, but just kind of, letting them, I guess, like going through those qualifying questions and then, hey, but if the right home came up, would you want to know about it? And like, what is it about the spring that you're waiting for? Like maybe they get a big bonus that comes in right around then and they need that for like there could be things about that make sense that like, yes, that does line up and whatnot. But, just kind of finding out if the right thing came up, would there be a reason to wait until then if everything came together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be conditions that they're waiting for spring. But what I have found is that most people say they're waiting for spring. They don't really know why.
Yeah.
It's just like the thing to say.
Right.
Or it's because they want to move over the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
If they have kids and the kids are out of school, that's when they want to move. They don't understand that you have to explain to them it could take some time.
Mhm.
So just waiting to go out, if you want to move in the summertime, you don't just start looking in May.
Right.
You really want to
Mhm.
get things going now.
Right.
Beginning of the year.
Yep.
Last case or worst case scenario. And, talk to lenders, see what programs are out there, get your finances in order.
Yeah.
Start riding around neighborhoods.
Right.
Find out where exactly you want to
Great
be if you
advice.
haven't figured out where you want to land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the school district. Great. I got that. Where have you researched neighborhoods, communities?
Right.
Do your homework. Look at the taxes there. Let me run you some cost sheets so you have a really good idea of what it might take to get into these communities.
Right. So that you're not like caught
Right.
by surprise.
Right. Like, oh my gosh, and then you have to pivot at the last minute.
Right. And does spring mean you want to move in the spring? Because that means
Great
you
question.
search now
Right.
and you get under contract and you
Mhm.
have that period of time that you're under contract for, which can be anywhere from like 30 to 90 days. And like,
Exactly.
because if you want to move in the spring, well, now's when you should be looking.
Exactly. Because especially if you're looking in a very particular area, there might not be houses
Right.
that come up all the time.
Yeah.
They think that, when you're going to be ready is when the house is going to appear. It doesn't happen.
Right.
So, but if the house comes on the market, you definitely want to be ready to make a move because you don't know if another one's going to come up in that neighborhood,
Right.
Before spring.
Yeah.
Or in the summer or in the fall.
Yeah. I mean, I'm working with a buyer who, it's early on, kind of like early stages, like doesn't need to do anything yet. But there is one target neighborhood that she really liked. And I saw that something was up in there. It was an end unit, and it fit all of the things in the place that she wanted to be. When I went back to look at comps, how normally you're going back like 180 days, maybe you go back a year. I had to go back 2,000 days to be able
Wow.
to, which then at that point, they're not even like,
Right.
comparables,
Yeah.
but just I had to keep going back further and further just to see because there's no turnover. So it's like, if this one, I have no idea when another one will come back up. I mean, it could be years.
Yep. That's a great point. So to people that are considering and sitting on the fence and waiting for spring, I think now's the time. If you do have extra time now, investigate the finances, see if you're in a good position, see what you qualify for. That's always, and I know that these pre-approvals, they last a while, like 6 to 9 months, right?
Right.
So it's perfect timing because that's the big unknown.
Right.
Sometimes we get to people and we go out and show them a house. They have no idea what they're even qualified for.
Right.
Because we could be looking at a $500,000 house and they qualify for $425,000.
Right.
Or they're at a 500 and they qualify for 650 or
Right.
So it's really important that you know what your target is.
Yeah.
And then we can help you better. We can
Right.
help you better navigate and work around that.
Well, because if you've been looking at all, let's say $500,000 houses, and then that's what you think you're getting, and then your qualifications come in significantly lower, you don't want to have your bar here and
Nope.
then realize that you're down here.
Yeah. That could be a real buzzkill.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, it happens sometimes, though, because
does.
people don't take the proper process. They don't do any planning. They see a house and get excited. I mean, how many times does it happen to you and where it's maybe even a client of yours that you've worked with in the past and they're like, hey, we saw this as a one-off, and then all of a sudden they're trying to buy the place, and there's not that planning involved. And this is where a lot of problems come up, is that people don't plan properly for these things. So when you see rates coming down, when you see these things happening, you don't want to be the last one to the party. And what I envision happening here, and Housing Wire did a great breakdown on this today, is that according to Altos research, it looks like home sellers are starting to come back to the market. So you never want to be flat-footed when the right home's out there, because you know how fast the market moves fast. And it's funny sometimes. I mean, how many times have you ladies seen a home that's been on the market like 30, 40 days? And then there's multiple offers and people are interested
Yep.
because an adjustment's been made. Or maybe it just took some time for the market to come to them. And as more sellers enter the market, and there's 11% more new sellers on the market this week than this time last year. So that's a really good sign, especially in the month of December. I can't stress that enough. And we're seeing mortgage applications increase. We're seeing prices go up, all because of rates going the right way. You've got to be ready as a consumer, as an agent, for what's to come here. And if you're not, start getting on the phones, having conversations now, see who needs that guidance, because like you said, some people say spring, they don't even know what the heck they mean.
Right.
They have no idea. So I mean, are you seeing more sellers come to the market? I mean, what are you guys seeing on the ground level here? Because I think this is if inventory gets unlocked, it's going to be a busy 12 months for the people that are ready to work, and it gets me excited.
Oh, I have a client who they have to sell before they buy, and they're ready. So they went through the pre-approval process already, so that they know what they can look for, but they have an understanding of, yes, I have to sell first.
Yeah.
So that way, and I've been waiting for them to do this.
Yeah.
And they've just been a little hesitant, but now is the time. So they're going to be ready in the spring.
Have they put in offers previously that got
No.
rejected because there was a contingency?
No. I took him to see a few houses. We didn't do a whole lot of legwork, but I did a listing presentation for them also. So we had a general idea of, but the big elephant in the room was like, well, can you buy first or do you have to sell first? We really have to find this out. Well, they finally talked to the lender.
Yeah.
So we know now and we can move forward. They
Yeah.
definitely have to sell first
Yeah.
in order to buy. So knowing that information, we know exactly how we have to maneuver in the market. So
Right.
we have to list, look for a rent back.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've had it, I'm sure you have as well, had it happen before where you have a client that they need to sell in order to buy, and it can be nerve-wracking to have your home up on the market before you have where you're going, lined up, but where they had to actually put in a couple offers that were contingent on home sale, and they didn't get them. And then it was like, all right, we need to put it up. Like, it doesn't have to, and as soon as you're just settlement contingent, it's so much more favorable as you're looking at it. It's like, yes, we do need to sell it to buy, but we already have it under contract.
Right.
We just need our settlement date to be after this date that we already have.
Yep. It makes it so much better.
Yeah.
Well, but what's really a consumer that's serious, and we've talked about this, is that and agents should use the same criteria. Is they have to, one, communicate with you two ways, which these people are doing, right? Then they've got to share financial details with you and answer your questions, because if they're not answering questions, you can't really help them. And this is where a lot of agents could probably improve. And we just sat through a training today on asking more questions to control the conversation instead of just talking at people and giving them a solution that doesn't apply. Because you could think their reason for hesitating could be because of rates or prices or inventory, but it's really, they don't know what to do. And if you're not asking them that's going to be really important. So they've got to communicate with you. They have to share things with you. They need to take your guidance, which it sounds like they are. And then they're financially in a spot to do it. And then all of a sudden, it takes some time for people to get ready, and it just doesn't happen all the time. So that's a really great example of someone that needs guidance. Because imagine if you didn't have that conversation with them or you didn't ask that question. What would have happened if they wanted to buy the house?
Oh, my gosh. Well, they wouldn't have been able to.
It would not have gone well, yeah.
It would not have gone well, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's really insightful here. So we're seeing some more people come back to the market. The last thing to think about here with this Fed meeting is that we saw the mortgage rates dip. Lance Lambert did a great job on this, is that, he talked about what's kind of going on in the market and how we saw rates come down so much, which is pretty incredible. And what he kind of ended with is that, with the financial markets easing and seeing the 10-year come down, a lot of people are having forecasts of 3% 10-year yields in 2024. And, a lot of people are calling that farcical. And it tells me that rates are probably going to stabilize where they are, at least for the next 6 months. I don't see them coming down much more. I don't think we're going to see another drop after the first of the year. I'm grateful where we are, and it's going to bring a lot of people back into the market. But there's going to be some time where it plays out a little bit. So I don't know that we're going to see rates come down too much more. What do you two think? I mean, we get to the end of Q1. Where do you see rates coming in? Are they going to be kind of around the same? Q2. When do you see rate? When does 5% handles happen?
I just had to look up what farcical.
Well, I think
means it's a joke.
I think at the 6.25%, buyers are able to buy down points at this and get into the fives if they wanted to, and they had the means to, or they could ask for sellers to do buy downs. So I mean that's very exciting if you can tout that you have you're into the fives, your interest rate's in the fives.
Right.
But I think me personally, I think it's going to stay in these very low sixes, 6.25.
Yeah.
That range. That's where I think it's going to just stay.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. And I think it's important for consumers to hear this because we're not going to have another Fed meeting. There's no policy changes until at least February. And we're going to get a lot of data. We're going to see spending data from December where there's typically like a lot of like holiday season spending. And we're going to see where things are trending. And it tells me the first quarter, there's a lot of opportunity here, especially in the Northeast. So if you're one of those people that's been on the fence, don't make the mistake of waiting until the spring. At least it could take you a month or 2 months to get your house ready for the market, right? And that's what people don't get. And buyers, you just don't know what's going to come to the market. You have no idea when the right house is going to become available. And it's so critical to be in a spot where you're ready, you're informed, just like Stacy and Sarah are talking about, where you know exactly what's going on. So we're going to end it right there. Thank you to the Fed for not screwing this up massively. It was a nice early Christmas gift here, seeing these rates come in. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the 2024 housing market trends that some people think could shape the market. We'll get Stacy and Sarah's feedback on each of these and then talk about the most searched real estate terms in 2023. This is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
For the best local mortgage service and great rates on your money, look no further than Mortgage America. We've been operating in the greater Philadelphia area for 40 years with a focus on smooth, easy access to home purchasing. Whether you're a first-time buyer, upsizing or downsizing, or just refinancing, we have programs for you. We also have closing cost assistance programs and access to subsidized interest rates. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. To learn more, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000. We always have a person available to take your call with around-the-clock human service. Purchase your home with the personalized, local service you find at Mortgage America.
Mortgage America is an equal housing lender. NMLS 128501. When you're getting a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice great service just to get a great rate. At Mortgage America, we've been lending with this philosophy for over 35 years. We have access to great low rates without the complications and delays of big or online banks. We're a local Pennsylvania lender with loan officers that you can actually meet. As PHFA's #1 lender, we specialize in all residential mortgage programs, including first-time buyer programs and low down payment options. For your free pre-approval, call us at 610-439-8000 or apply online at mymortgageamerica.com. Mortgage America is an equal housing lender. NMLS 128501.
The Tom Toole Sales Group is the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania with over $165 million in volume for 2021. I'm Tom Toole, and our team has achieved that kind of success by being a great place to work with and to work for. No one knows Greater Philly better than we do. We know real estate, but more importantly, we're real people. We hire the best agents, and we give them all the tools to succeed. Even our brand new agents sell 17 to 24 homes a year because our team delivers the best experience in real estate. Teams deliver a better experience than individuals, and we're a top 1% real estate team in the country. We call it AAA service. We're your advocate, ally, and advisor. Because this isn't a transaction to us, it's a relationship. If you're buying or selling a home, call the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Sell your home for more, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit tomtoole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX main line.
All right. Welcome back to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Stacy Mitchell. She's Sarah Timon. And we have Nick Wolf behind the camera. And we all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And if you get some value out of this, we're going to be talking about 2024 housing market trends that will shape the market and Google's most searched real estate terms. Do us a favor, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, hit the bell for notifications, and that way you can stay up to date with all the most recent housing market information. So the 5 trends that are going to shape the real estate market. Sarah's looking at door knocking leads, which I love. That's how committed she is to the business. So this was an article Housing Wire came out with. I'm going to give you their 5. I want to get your reaction and then see if they missed anything. So Number one real estate trend that could affect the market, prop tech challenges and profitability. It's all around technology. And what they're saying is the prop tech sector, which there's a ton of, I mean, I feel like I get sold something like every day. I'm like, buy these new leads or get this new lead service.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, sounds like you guys do too.
So
And,
annoying.
you know, and some of the stuff does work, but for every one that works, there's like 10 that fail. And it's very reliant on venture capital, and the Federal Reserve rate hikes and the slowdown in the VC investment have created a challenging environment. So as we enter 2024, what they're saying here is that despite uncertainties in the market, technology could emerge, and some of these companies will get put out of business. So how do you see prop tech being challenged? These companies going out of business? Tell me more about what your reaction is here.
I feel like there's so much constant shifting that goes on with that, and like so many different companies doing so many different things that I like just don't even know. I feel like they're just gonna keep on shuffling around, and
They come and go.
they come and go, and they shuffle.
I agree. But it does look like there's going to be some other ways that technology is going to play an important factor in real estate. I know that AI, that's already a big influence. I mean, there's a lot of people that use the AI chat GPT just to generate listing descriptions,
Mhm.
you know, all kinds of things you can use it for.
Yeah.
Templates for emails and text messages. So that type of technology has been embraced by the real estate market. I don't know. It says cybersecurity here in real estate and property management. But as far as tech, like for lead sources and things like that, yeah, I mean, you and I, you get bombarded all the time with
All
text
the time.
messages. Do you need more leads in this area or
Right.
zip code? Blah blah blah. No, we have
Yeah.
we have in-house things that we utilize. So
Right.
I don't even
And
bother
that
wasting
the
my
team
time.
like pre-vets and
Right.
like determines if it's a good like source to go through. Like,
right. Yes.
oh my gosh. Well, and then I feel like for some of them, like, have you done any of the calls with them where they like actually do like a presentation or anything like that? And then it gets like they never are upfront about the cost of the different things or
Nope.
like the structure. And then like, and from the beginning, I'm like, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time. Like, just answer. And they won't. And then like, for just $5,000, you can get in on this.
2 leads.
Right. Like,
Yeah. No, I don't. I think, I mean, it's tough. That's a tough business.
mhm.
So I can understand why. But if you're a solo agent, maybe you do,
Sure.
try those
Right.
avenues. But I think there's many more proven ways to go about
Right.
lead generation. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
But technology, it's here to stay. It's here. It's infiltrated real estate, and like you said, Sarah, it's going to be shuffling. They're going to invent new ways to approach agents and lenders, and to try to help, with all aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I tend to agree with you, and I think technology is not going to go away. The challenge with real estate is that the tech's all over the place, right? You go to other industries, like the car industry is a great example. They have like one platform that gets used, and in real estate, because it's kind of disjointed a little bit, there's no real good like tech servers, and I think that's part of the challenge here. And everyone's trying to be the one place to go, and I don't think just knowing real estate agents, there's no way they're going to ever do that. So I tend to agree with you. I think this is actually a pretty accurate article, and we're going to see more and more of this stuff where they just keep trying to sell people things. I mean, that's really what it is. So the second trend here, let me pull this up. So the second trend is the emergence of secondary markets will challenge traditionally popular locales in 2024. So what they talk about here is that more than ever, real estate agents in local markets are needing to think nationally as opposed to regionally. The shift is propelled by the increased migration of people, as evidenced by a variety of data points. Rent spree user statistics have showcased a significant spread of rental applications across the nation between 2021 and 2023, and 17% of rental applicants sought housing in other states. So as we prepare, the challenges of affordability and the evolving nature of work will foster increased migration to secondary markets. So do you see more people relocating than we have in the past?
Well, I don't know because I guess I can't go back that far. But people are able to work from home now, so that opens up a whole new lifestyle for them. They can pretty much pick and choose wherever they want to live. So if they do want to go to different areas to experience, maybe a lesser, the housing market is a little bit more conducive to them financially. And maybe they like warmer weather year round. But it gives them opportunity, people who work from home. So I think that having a really good source of referral agents that we work with on hand in all types of different markets, which we already do. But I think that's really important as agents because I think the more that we can refer people, trusted agents in another area, again, it's all about reputation and trust. So if you do have clients that are like, hey, we're moving to Austin, Texas or whatever, and you can refer them to a really good agent that they'll take care of them.
Right.
Work has changed a lot of things. I mean, there's jobs now where you can do them from anywhere in the country, which was not the case. I mean, Zillow, for example, everyone there is remote. Like they don't have the offices like they used to, which I find pretty interesting. Our job's obviously not like that. And affordability is an issue. I mean, you can get a lot of bang for your buck in some of these other markets. You go down to Florida, it's way cheaper to buy some properties there. You're by the beach, the weather's warmer, there's no state income tax. There's a lot of things driving that. So I do see more people doing that, but I don't know if it's going to be any more. They're looking at rental data here, right? When it comes to selling, I don't see that really being the case because I think people have roots when they buy a house in the first place. So if you're not established, it could be a different thing. That's for sure. So that's number 2. Number 3, multiple listing services need to become the source of truth for rentals. I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, they're talking about having integrated rental listings with the right to success and standardized data for rental listings. Is that going to really shape the housing market? What do you two think here?
No, I don't. I don't think it's going to shape the housing market. I mean, there's not that many rentals that land on the MLS.
Right.
Because there's not that many rentals that are listed with agents.
Right.
Most of your rentals, they could, are mom and pop owned. So they can put an ad on, I don't know, wherever, Craigslist.
We did ours. I am a real estate agent, and we put ours on Craigslist.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Or it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
A lot of times ours is taken before it's even empty. People find out it's going to be, a tenant's moving out, somebody wants to move in. So I don't think the MLS is going to shape, especially the rental market now.
So I agree. I don't see this shaping the housing market at all. I think rentals are temporary for a lot of people unless you're an investor. So I don't even know why that was in here. Number 4, flourishing during challenging times, a tale of two interconnected markets. So the prospects of home ownership are elusive for some folks around affordability with where we saw rates come in earlier in the year before we've seen the drop, obviously. They should have proofread this article because they say rates are hovering between 7 and 8%. This was published today.
Oh, my gosh.
So obviously that's not the case. But there's some financial barriers. Affordability is still a challenge. I don't think there's anything there. And the cost between buying and renting underscores the financial challenges associated with home ownership. And what they're talking about is the paradigm shift in the real estate landscape presents a unique opportunity for real estate professionals. The for sale market is marked by the lawsuits and everything else going on. And then there's they're talking about, finding income from other avenues, such as the rental market. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I think that's probably not going to be your best use of time. Be familiar with it. And are certain cases where you can be very helpful to your clients. Like, let's say the plan was they were going to buy and then, XYZ happened and I do need to rent for a year, setting them up on a rental search and then putting them together with the person to get it done or sending them the rental application. not like sticking your nose up at it, but in terms of like having that be where you focus your time and attention, I don't know that I think time would be better spent just building out your pipeline and working your sphere and focusing on listings.
I like that.
I agree, Sarah. And for the clients that are looking to rent, I find out why they're looking to rent. If they can't, if they feel that they can't afford or they're not in a position, why is that? Is it? Do they have to work on their credit? Is it things like that that's holding them back, or is it really the finances?
Right.
Once you have a better understanding of that, you can best guide them.
Yeah.
Will they be ready to buy in a year and they can rent temporarily? And then, that's great. You can help them get into a rental.
Yeah.
But, maybe it's going to be a 3 to 5 year proposition for them because their credit is absolutely horrific and they have to work on that and save some more money. But again, I go back to, if you don't know, you have to find out.
Right.
For the clients too, they need to talk to a lender. They need to
Right.
find out what's really hiding on their credit report and how much money they have.
Right.
Well, and what they're talking about here, I mean, it's basically like, hey, you need to get out of the business and have a different business model, because property management and doing rentals is a totally great business, but that's got to be the only focus. When you start dabbling in, I'm going to do a little bit of commercial, and then I'm going to do some residential, and then I'm going to do some property management. You're not focused on anything. And sure, there's going to be some challenges with these commission lawsuits, and what we know is that nothing's really been decided yet. There's also less home selling. And what I see here, I think this is bad advice for people. I think it's, you got to pick one thing and get really focused on it instead of pivoting to something totally different. And the amount of time spent on working a rental versus working a sale is drastically different. I mean, and you don't know what the situation is going to be. So, and you mentioned how you rented your property through Craigslist, right? So you don't even have access to all the data. So, I mean, there's another, that's bad advice. I don't like that trend at all. Last one here, and then I want to see if you guys think they missed anything. Building a fairer financial future towards home ownership with affordability as the primary concern heading into 2024. Excuse me. Tools are intended to support greater financial empowerment. Will there be any inclusion programs or new lending programs out there?
Well, there's always new lender programs out there. I mean, but you just have to talk to your lenders and find out. And I noticed that the lenders have different programs. So you have to talk to a couple different lenders and find out what's best for you.
Yeah.
As far as, the rent payment reporting, that might be a good way for people to be able to build upon their credit report, and have those consistent rent payments.
Yeah.
Maybe it would help them, on their credit report, build a more stronger background. But I really think that, the lender programs change all the time. There's new things that come up. So you have to be in touch with lenders and find out what's going to work best for you.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree that while different programs could come out that could be, certainly help people, there are programs out there now that can, and just continuing to stay in communication with your lender, and if a couple months go by, reach out and be like, hey, is there anything else that's become available that could be helpful? Because throughout the year, constantly, it's not like it's just once a year now. Changes have come into play. It's constant,
It's constant. That's why we always have,
Meetings.
meetings with our lenders to find out, hey, what's going on? What's new? I mean, there's all kinds of things. I know that one of our lenders that we work with, he had some programs. If you're 55 over, you could do some type of reverse mortgage on your house, but get into your new home. I mean, it was some kind of, easier way for people that are in their traditional home to downsize into a 55 plus community without having to cash out retirement funds and things like that for their down payment.
Right.
It was awesome. It's an awesome program that people probably don't know about. If you're a veteran, there's VA programs out there. If you're a physician or a PA, a physical therapist, a teacher, there's all kinds of programs for those people that have 0% down.
Right.
So if you don't know, you don't know. So you have to get out there and talk to lenders.
Right. And when you talk to the lenders, give them your whole story. Tell them what you're concerned about. Tell them where, like, I'm worried if I pull money from here, it's going to do this. And
Yes.
this is like, just give them the whole story. And then they can take those pieces and come up with different options for you. And then at least you know what you have to work with.
That's their expertise.
Right.
That's what they know best, and that they're going to help you best get into the best program.
Yeah.
And tell you what you're going to need to do.
So I totally agree with you. They missed some big stuff. I mean, if you were to talk about the trends that are going to shape the real estate industry, I mean, what would you have guys come up with here for 2024?
Trends that are going to shape.
Well, I'm a little, I don't think they mentioned this, just the commission.
Yeah, the commission lawsuit, I mean, that was the obvious one, and they mentioned it like briefly, and that you might need to pivot to rentals. I would argue the trend is agents who know how to navigate showing their value are going to be way more sought after than agents that are hey, I showed you the house, I'm entitled to a commission. And folks that understand their craft and are knowledge brokers understand like the numbers and how to deliver a presentation and all like the people with the right skills are going to thrive in this kind of market because it's a little more challenging now. It's taking time to get offers accepted. Homes aren't selling right away. You got to have price adjustment conversations, all these things that we've talked about over and over again. So that was the obvious. I don't even know how you write an article without that being number one in the residential real estate industry. I mean, that was shocking to me. Mm-hmm. And they let off with prop tech. Like, give me a break. That's been like that for years.
Right.
Yeah. And, in this market, there's hard conversations. Mm-hmm. You have to learn how to, address those hard conversations. It's like we have some very uncomfortable conversations, don't we, Sarah?
Yep.
Well,
So you have to learn how to navigate through them. Don't take things personally.
Right.
Take the emotion out of it.
Mm-hmm.
For the sellers and buyers, it's very emotional.
Oh, yeah.
extremely.
They're devastated if something falls through.
Right.
This is their whole thing. We can't be those emotionally unstable people. We have to be their rock, and we have to present them with facts and the right information and help them navigate through all this stuff. So having these uncomfortable conversations, it's helpful. You have to know how to do it.
Right. It's like a balance of having empathy and like feeling for them and like knowing how they feel, but also like being able to be like, all right, this happened, but this is where we can go from here.
Right. Solutions to the problems.
Solutions. Yep.
Yes.
Well said. No, I totally agree. And that's got to be the number one trend that's going to shape the industry this year because people are going to have questions. And if you don't know how to have those right conversations or really just help people guide through like this confusing market because there's less home selling, the economy's strong. There's a lot of weird stuff happening right now that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So that to me is going to be the number one trend. I don't know how you write this article and don't acknowledge that. So I thought that was a big miss here on Housing Wire's part and the author of the article, Michael Lucarelli. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the most Googled or the most Google searched, because Google's not a word, terms in real estate. And if that has any foreshadowing about what's going to happen in 2024, this is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
You shouldn't have to deal with all the red tape when getting your mortgage from a big or online bank. At Mortgage America, we have access to big bank money, but with the personalized and detailed service of a local bank. We are here in your community and ready to serve with fast settlements, low down payment options, and first-time homebuyer programs. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. For more information, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000.
Mortgage America Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 128501.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit TomToole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line.
I'm Tom Toole of the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line. If you're thinking of becoming a real estate agent in the greater Philly area, I have a special offer for you. Our team did $165 million of volume in 2021, making us the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania and a top 1% team nationally. Our agents love us because we offer them a successful career, a great life, and an unbeatable culture. Agents who've been with us for at least a year average 30-plus sales. Even our brand new agents average 17 to 24 sales a year. We offer proven systems and expert training. We help you set more appointments and sell more houses. Now here's the offer. If you don't have a real estate license yet, we offer real estate scholarships so you can get one for free. Check it out at realestatescholarshipprogram.com or visit the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline at tomtoole.com. That's tomtoole.com. Get more out of your real estate career, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole.
When you're getting a mortgage, you shouldn't have to sacrifice great service just to get a great rate. At Mortgage America, we've been lending with this philosophy for over 35 years. We have access to great low rates without the complications and delays of big or online banks. We're a local Pennsylvania lender with loan officers that you can actually meet. As PHFA's #1 lender, we specialize in all residential mortgage programs, including first-time buyer programs and low down payment options. For your free pre-approval, call us at 610-439-8000 or apply online at mymortgageamerica.com.
Mortgage America's equal housing lender, NMLS 1285001.
Welcome back to Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Time, and she's Stacy Mitchell. We have Nick Wolf behind the camera, and we all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And if you got some value out of our first two segments, or you are excited to learn about the most searched real estate terms in 2023, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications. That way you can stay totally up to date with the real estate market. So BAM put out this article. I thought this was pretty interesting. And it's that time of year when everyone kind of looks back at the last 12 months, biggest stories, predictions. That's going to be our show next week. So we spoiler alert, we do it every year. They took the Google Trends to find out what people across the U.S. were typing into the search bar and what that means. So they looked at Google's most searched real estate terms, and they're sharing the term, but a lot of it had like top or rising. So they wanted to define this here. I think this is pretty important. Top means the most popular topics. Rising means related topics with the biggest increase in search frequency since the last time period. So there's two ways they look at it. So the top queries: real estate agent, #1. What is real estate, #2. Commercial real estate, #3, real estate license, #4, and real estate market, #5. And that has to do with those are the top queries related to real estate. The rising queries, now this is interesting. This is the most searched: Limestone commercial real estate, J. Beard real estate reviews, the J. Beard Real Estate Company, real estate billionaire Sam Zell, and Limestone Real Estate. So what does this tell you here? I mean, I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't really know what to make of it. I've Googled these myself prepping for the show. So does that tell you anything about what's on consumers' mind, or what's your reaction here, ladies?
Well, for all this limestone stuff, my first thought was, wait, did something like big happen with them that I didn't
that we missed?
Like, I don't know what it would be, but yeah, I guess people are just thinking commercial.
I actually looked up Limestone Real Estate. So what comes up is a 1-star review for a real estate brokerage. That's bad news for them. There's only 2 reviews. So who knows? It's in Brooklyn. Then Limestone, Pennsylvania. I didn't even know that was a town.
Wow.
Do you know is that by Lancaster, Sarah? Do you have any idea?
I don't know.
Probably Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I would think.
Then Limestone, New York. I mean, it's fascinating to me
Wow.
that so I don't know if it actually had to do with Stacy, we were through a house that had limestone pillars. You remember this?
Yes.
So maybe it had to do with like building materials.
Yeah, could be. But that would be interesting that it would be a rising query. Like people are like this.
And
this made the
nationally?
mark.
Right.
Yeah. Well, who's J. Beard Real Estate?
We're going to find out.
Wow. And who's the billionaire Sam Zell? I don't know any of these people.
So J. Beard is a company in Woodlands, Texas. And, I know who J. Beard is. I believe they're involved with the commission lawsuit. So that's probably why they're...
Oh.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Sam Zell. Maybe they're involved in it too.
Sam Zell has a net worth of $4.9 billion.
Actually, I don't know about J. Beard. I might be wrong there. I mean, they're a commercial real estate company. Sam Zell, we know. I mean, I think it's... When you look at this, it tells you that there's things going on we don't even know about, right? Like, so what, I mean, this is pretty generic. I wanted to jump to NAR. I thought this was interesting. So, and this it tells me the state of the industry here. So the top queries when it came to National Association of Realtors was National Association of Realtors NAR National, so there's all the names, right? And then number 5 was the lawsuit. But the rising inquiries were Redfin leaving, National Association of Realtors, lawsuit against National Association of Realtors, Burnett versus National Association of Realtors, DocuSign, and Kenny Parcell. What does that tell you?
DocuSign. Wow. People were Googling what is DocuSign. Interesting.
I wonder what percentage of this
DocuSign is
agents.
getting bought out, by the way. So there's a deal as of Friday that they might be buyout with the help of advisors, and their market cap's $11.5 billion. So that's probably why DocuSign is getting Googled.
I thought Zillow had DocuSign.
No, they have .loop.
That's right. I got the two confused. Yeah.
Oh,
They both do the same
.loop,
thing, but
then you
.loop.
send it through DocuSign.
No,
No,
DocuSign's a separate
DocuSign's
platform.
a separate.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the same as
I've been using
.loop,
them interchangeably.
but DocuSign, yeah. Sometimes agents
Consumers
send
won't
stuff
know.
through
Like, they
DocuSign.
don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just electronic
yeah.
signature
Right.
platform. Oh, okay. So DocuSign's getting sold. Well, that's interesting. Well, people want to know. They obviously want to know, what is this NAR that these people are talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What is this organization that has all
Right.
these problems?
Right.
And, what is it good for? So people are curious. And I think a lot of realtors are curious, like, do I have to be a part of this organization?
Right. Well, what I was kind of wondering is, like, for these searches, and I'm sure maybe there is a way to measure it, but, like, it'd be interesting to know, like, what percentage are already in the industry and are searching for these things versus how many are just, like, outside
Layman
consumer.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one, Sarah. Yeah. Because I think, in general, I could see everybody or people doing real estate searches, right?
Yeah.
Housing market searches. And you
Right.
see where it says housing market crash and all these other things.
Right.
come up.
Like, those I feel like would be a lot of just people.
Yeah.
General
audience people.
But some of these more, like, specific, and it might be more
Mm-hmm.
people in the industry thinking, like, how does this relate to me? How does this affect
Mhm.
me?
Yeah, I agree. Or people that, maybe there's an offshoot of general population that have gotten wind of the lawsuit,
Right.
and, they want to know, what is this association of realtors?
Right.
What do they have to do with all this? So that's interesting.
Well, the number one rising was Redfin leaving, and I think that made some headlines because they actually had a seat with NAR. So what this tells me is that consumers may be a little more aware than we realize. Now, not everyone, because, we've all talked to clients. I've talked to them with you, both of you, past couple weeks. Like, there's no mention of this stuff, or people don't. Have you heard it a lot? I haven't. We've worked on some relatively big pieces of business. I haven't heard anything from these folks.
When there was like a day or two when this lawsuit first hit the news. I think it was on, I don't know, one of these shows, market shows.
Mhm.
There was I saw on a couple websites, a couple people talking about it. But
Yeah.
since then, no. It's like a 24-hour news cycle anymore. So
Right.
something else, more imperative comes along and
Right.
it blows it out of the news cycle.
Right.
And now with all the copycat lawsuits going on, people,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, another one. Oh, another one. Oh,
Right.
another one. It's like, whatever.
Well, and until I feel like somebody's ready to do a real estate or do something where that actually affects them, like, they probably really don't care. Like, they may know that there's headlines out there that something's going on or happened or it might happen, or, like,
I had a client ask, when I print out the client copy of the Bright MLS, it shows the buyer agency compensation. I had a client ask me if they're responsible for that. So I had to get, because they're like, oh, do we have to pay this? So agents, you need to know how to answer that question properly
right.
and not improperly that could
Right.
get you in trouble.
Right.
So, and I was like, wow, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And then I went through and answered the question for him.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Stacey, and we're running a training right around that called the Best Practices in the Commission Lawsuit Era toward the end of January, because I think if we're not teaching that at our team, we've already gone over it a little bit, we're doing everyone a disservice. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's another copycat lawsuit. They named 40 defendants in, by the way. This news came out yesterday, and it was in Texas again, where there's same case. There's a concealed conspiracy that adversely impacted countless home buyers and sellers and anyone that in the state of Texas who who listed a home for sale between November 13th, 2019 and the present, and they named 40 different defendants.
Oh my gosh.
Texas Association of Realtors, Austin Board of Realtors, San Antonio Board of Realtors, Keller Williams Home Services, Austin/Central Texas Realty Information, Houston Real Estate Information Service, North Texas Real Estate Information Systems, Keller Williams again. This might be a different one. Heel Holding Groups. I know Tim Heel. I've seen him speak. Dave Perry Miller Company, the Loken Group, the Hexagon Group, PenFed Realty, Ebby Halliday Real Estate, DMTX, Fathom, Grace, Remax. The list goes on. So
I feel like to avoid some of this down the line, like, you know how we have that handbook thing that you can send out in dot loop for lead-based paint, know your rights or know your whatever, just have like a little thing,
general,
just a general announcement to anybody who's looking to sell. This is what's up, you
that's
know,
a great
and
idea.
like stop the lawsuits.
So
well, I think after the appeals, we'll know more.
Yeah.
it's funny you mention that because that's exactly what I've discussed internally. And the problem is no one knows what the rules are going to be. I mean, that's the
Right.
challenge because of the appeals. So
Yeah.
that's it for this week's episode. We're getting played out. If you got some value out of this, subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell for notifications. You can follow Sarah on Instagram. She's at Ty_Ty Time. You can follow Stacy at @2 Mitchko. You can follow me at TomTool3RD. We're here live every week on Tuesdays at 3 o'clock. We will see you next week. Happy holidays, everybody.